Hi there, I'm Kara Lenorovitz, and this short video is going to take you through some tips on how to get hip with IP, or another way to say that is how to appropriately find, use, and cite informational sources. Let's say you're given a prompt for an assignment like this one. What does a carbon atom look like? Now, assuming this isn't an answer that you're going to be generating entirely on your own and something that you're going to research, the next thing that you're probably going to want to do is actually to do that research to find out. But when you are doing a research project, even if it's to answer a straightforward seeming question like this, you are actually answering a second question as well. And in the background, you need to be answering what is IP, which is intellectual property. And intellectual property is anything that anyone creates, from that finger painting that you made way back in kindergarten all the way through the latest TikTok video. In general, if someone created it and it exists in some tangible form, it is considered intellectual property and is legally protected under Section 102 of the Copyright Act of 1976. And that means you actually need to cite the original creator when you use it. For example, I here have cited the original creation of that particular Copyright Act. Research, of course, starts with finding some information, and many of us start with a search engine online, in this case like Google, and you might type into the search prompt there what you're looking for, in this case potentially a carbon atom, and a whole host of different things are going to show up. You can even refine that search, as you probably know, a little further by selecting images as if what you really want is a picture of something. But the challenge is that many of these images are fully protected by copyright. Some of them, however, probably have a Creative Commons license. Your life and your world is a lot easier if you're working with material that does have a Creative Commons license so that you don't violate copyright law. So you can refine your search just a little bit. After your search term, carbon atom, if you add in the phrase Creative Commons, it is going to pull up images that are under the Creative Commons license. In these cases, the creators or artists have given full or sometimes limited permission for others to use their work, which means your job is going to be a lot easier. Once you search in the Creative Commons, can you borrow the image? Well, the answer is it depends, and it depends on what kind of license the Creative Commons user has given it. So there are a whole host of different license types that you can see here. So they may be permission to copy and publish. They may require that you attribute to the original creator. They may be acceptable for commercial use. They may be acceptable to modify and adapt, or they may be acceptable to change the license. All of those different things will be symbolized by a bunch of different icons, and you need to know what those icons stand for so that you're not violating copyright law. Well, can you borrow this image? Let's say you come across this one as a representation of a carbon atom. If you found it in the Creative Commons, by clicking on the image itself, you oftentimes are going to find some information on licensing directly. Sometimes it will be shown with those icons that we just looked at. In this case, you can see the icon of a person with a backward C here. And in some cases, it will also have a description of exactly what that means. So this one says that we're free to share it, copy, distribute, and transmit the work, and we're also free to remix it. That's a good sign for using it for a research project. But notice that it has the following conditions. One of those is attribution. We have to give appropriate credit and provide a link to the license and indicate if changes were made. We can do so in any reasonable manner, but not in any way that suggests that the licensor endorses your use. And we have permission to share alike as long as we make sure we are doing that appropriate attribution. Great, so we can use that image. Now we just need to appropriately cite or attribute it. A lot of people mistakenly assume that all you need to do once you find something in the search engine is just to go up to the top of that Google search bar and copy that really, really long URL. Unfortunately, that is simply the code that the search engine used to locate the set of images that matched your search terms. It is not a citation. So when you're going to cite, this isn't what you want to be paying attention to. Instead, your options are to actually click on the image itself. Again, if it's something directly in Creative Commons, like this particular image that I found here, you can usually find tabs right next to it for how you would like to use it. And it sometimes will even include the attribution itself. In that case, you can just copy the attribution and paste it directly into your final document. If you can't find that attribution easily, no worries. There's still another way for you to appropriately attribute or cite that source. All you need to do is copy the URL of the image. So at this point, once you're clicked on the image, it's going to be in the search bar above, or you can right-click on the image itself. You want to copy that URL, and then we're going to take that to a citation generator. There are lots of free, easy-to-use citation generators. The one I'm highlighting here is Scribr, which you can find at scribr.com. Along the top of Scribr and along many other citation generation programs, you just need to make sure you're choosing citation tools. From there, you're going to have some options about the form of citation, whether APA or MLA, both of which are very common and widely accepted in academic settings. And you're going to need to select the type of information source that you're trying to cite. In this case, none of the ones here say images, so I'm going to click on More Types here in order to find that. In this case, I've selected to go with MLA or Modern Language Association format, and it's brought me to this page which has a whole bunch of locations that I need to fill in. Sometimes this information is going to be filled in for you automatically, depending on the source of material. Sometimes you need to fill it in manually, but typically it's going to ask you for the title, for the website name, for the contributors, and for the publication date along with the URL. This is where I would put that URL from the image that I actually selected. I would then hit Submit, and I'm going to get the correctly formatted citation for that. So I now have information that I can use to answer this question that I started with: what does a carbon atom look like? I know that I found an image that is approved by the Creative Commons. I know that I've included a correct citation for it, so this is indeed IP approved. I know it sounds like a few extra steps, but once you get the hang of it, it's a really easy process to do, and it's going to make sure that you're not violating code. Good luck, and feel free to reach out with questions.